Hi everyone, welcome on back to my channel. My name is Iris, and today I wanted to talk about locks and how they form, because I was actually interested myself because I am currently on my lock journey and I'm about almost to the halfway of the 2-year mark. I'm 16 months locked, and I figured let me see how do locks form, because I feel like I've gone through a couple of these stages as I've been progressing through my lock journey. So the first stage of locks is the pre-locking or the starter lock phase. And this is the stage where you decide, okay, I'm going to install some locks, whether you get them professionally done or you do them at home yourself. It's up to you. Now, this is also the stage where you decide, okay, what size lock do I want to get? And for me personally, I found that to be a little bit difficult because I didn't go to a professional and I do have fine hair. So I was going back and forth on, do I want thick locks or do I want thin locks? Going into this process, I was kind of unsure about what size I wanted to do because I've seen people go either way with fine hair. I've watched some people here on YouTube that have thick fine hair locks, and I've seen people who have thin fine hair locks, and their journeys are just as beautiful. I would say it just depends on personal preference. What do you want to have? But like I said, it's just personal preference on how you want your locks to look, your hair density and texture. This is also the part of the journey where you need to decide, do you want neatness or you don't want neatness? Some people don't care about parts and they're willing to just grab hair, twist it up or braid it up or comb coil it up. So you can also make that decision. Some people love neat locks, the way it looks, and I have to say I was drawn to that before I actually installed my locks myself. But you know, you have the option to get these professionally done, which may help you in having that neat look. I would say if you're doing it at home, it's going to be a bit more tedious and you have to kind of be more strict on yourself about, do you really care how neat it looks? When you're installing them yourself, that kind of goes out the window. I'm just going to be honest. You realize that this is harder than you thought it was going to be. But I don't think that should matter at the end of the day, just as long as you're happy with the results that you get either way. Also, you need to decide how you're going to install your locks. You have comb coils, you have 2-strand twists, and you have the braid method. So these are usually the 3 methods that are used to start locks. I decided to go with 2-strand twists because it was the easiest, I thought, to do, because I was already used to 2-strand twisting my natural hair anyway. Stage 2 of the lock journey is baby locks, or the budding stage. It usually ranges between 3 to 9 months, and you're going to experience a lot of frizziness, a lot of frizzing in your hair, because now your hair is starting to go through the locking process. You're also going to notice budding starting to happen, and budding is that little swelling within your lock. It can be anywhere on your lock, from the bottom to the top to near the root to in the middle. It could be anywhere, but budding is a good sign to see because that swelling and contracting is what is actually helping your hair to start to form the lock. If you started your locks with twists or braids, at this point in the journey, you will start to notice that that demarcation of the braid or the twist is now starting to diminish. Now, at this point in my journey, I still feel like you can kind of see the demarcation of my twist, but it's definitely not as prominent as it used to be in the beginning. And you also need to keep that in mind with the method that you start, how you start your locks, you're going to have that demarcation of the braid or the twist for about 3 to 9 months. So if that is something that would bother you, you probably want to stick to the cone coil method. The third stage on a lock journey is usually the teenage stage, or something that's also called the shooting stage. And this stage usually lasts for about 6 to 18 months. So by this time, your hair should have already budded all over. You probably have noticed a lot of shrinkage at this point, and probably you're feeling like your hair is not progressing. I will admit, on my journey at the 9-month mark, about 9 to 10 months, I was feeling that way. I was feeling that, what is my hair doing? Is it doing anything at all? Because at this point, your hair has done so much of the shrinking and the contracting and the budding all over that your hair has shrunken up. So it looks like it's not growing or it's not progressing the way you think it should be. But actually at this point, your hair is doing what it actually needs to do to go through the locking process. At this point, your hair is probably being very unruly and is looking wild, or giving you the so-called ugly stage, if you want to call it that. I did go through this, I want to say about between the 6 to 7 month period in my journey. So it just depends on your journey if you're going to reach a certain milestone at a certain point. But it was unruly. It wasn't looking its best at this point. It was kind of looking like, I don't know, like it wasn't giving me what I wanted at that point. And this is probably the part of the stage in the lock journey where people question, did they make the right decision to start locks? Because a lot of people don't want to go through this stage, but it is so necessary for you to get over this hump to get to the point where you want to be, where your locks are mature and they look the way you actually wanted them to look. Also, usually during this stage, your locks have swelled up to about twice their size. So this is probably the point in your journey where you're going to see the size that you may be having for the rest of your journey, because that budding process has completed all over, and it's probably going to show you the size of lock you're going to have at this point. The last stage in the locking journey is the adult stage, or the elder stage. This stage usually lasts from 12 to 36 months, and your hair is usually completely dense at this point. If you feel your lock, it feels firm. It doesn't feel, kind of squishy, or, like a twist or a braid or a coil or anything. It feels like it is firm. It is locked at this point. Your ends are usually sealed. They don't give you that curly ends or, that frizziness at the ends that you were going through at the beginning of your journey. You're usually experiencing more growth at this point in time, which is the best part probably of the journey, because you've gone through this process of your hair going up and down, kind of shrinking and looking all types of ways. But at this point, once it starts to grow out, you're going to actually see the length start to appear. You're also going to notice a minimum of frizz. And I've stated this before, I used to experience matting so much in my journey and me having to pop and pry my locks apart. But at this point in my journey, I have to say I've definitely noticed that my hair is less frizzy. It's less tangled. It's not combining as much as it used to. So that definitely lets me know the mature process is definitely becoming more apparent. At this point, you will definitely notice your hair normalize in size. It's no longer going to look like it's not one particular size. It should be looking like from root to end that it's one normal size altogether. Especially if you don't have any lumps or bumps in your locks. If you do, it's probably gonna have a little lump and bump here, but it should look a bit normal in size, and that is the size you will definitely have for the rest of your journey. At this point in your journey, your locks are now constricting themselves. They're no longer looking puffy. So you're basically at the end of the lock process. So to get to this part of the journey, patience is definitely key. If you don't have patience, you're probably gonna quit or get frustrated or think that this is a waste of your time. Locs is a journey that takes time, and I'm definitely not against anyone installing instant locks. Of course, do what's best for you, but if you do this from start to finish without any assistance or install of anything else, patience is key. It's going to take time for this process. This is the last stage, which is about 12 to 36 months. So before that, you're probably going to go through the ups and downs of this journey and question a lot of things. But I would say just stick with it. It is something that you do grow with. It is something that teaches you about yourself. And it's definitely something that will help you grow as a person. I feel like personally, from my own experience, you realize that doing something and rushing into something doesn't always give you what you necessarily want or need. But when you see something take its time and go through the journey and the beauty of the ups and downs, you start to appreciate it a different way than you thought you would before. So that is pretty much it for the stages of locks on your lock journey. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye, guys.